After the prologue of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you'll be thrown into the open world with nothing but the rags on your back. So here's some early game tips and tricks on how to get the best start. I'll be showing you how to get the best early game armor, weapons, and how to level up your combat skills early on, so you can learn new combos and not get destroyed by everything you're trying to fight. I'll also cover what's better, a bow or a crossbow, and how to get your dog, a free permanent horse, and permanent storage in the early game. Play On UK sponsored this video to give you guys the ultimate head start in your medieval adventure. You can grab Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 for yourself from the link below. But we have a lot to go over, so I've timestamped everything below in the description. After the prologue, you'll be starting here on the map in Troskovitz village, and you can come back here at any time. After the prologue, the game will autosave from the center of town. So now's actually the best time for some sneaky thievery to unlock some early game alchemy recipes. If you go just here where the scribe is in town and head inside the guardhouse, you will find the scribe's home. Close the doors behind you and make sure that you're sneaking so nobody can see you through the window. You can find 2 skill books and a potion recipe to steal as well. So go ahead and grab the stuff off the shelf. And then behind you, you can loot this chest for 30 groschen and a tin badge. I'll explain what this stuff is in a moment, but for now, we want to flee the scene of the crime. You see, if people notice that their belongings are missing, they'll call the guards, who will then start searching anybody nearby, including you. So we now want to leave the area. After we're safe, we can have a look at what we just stole. Firstly, you have the Buck's Blood recipe that can be learned to unlock a potion recipe which boosts your stamina recovery. The skill books, on the other hand, will boost your heavy weapons and scholarship skills. When you do use a skill book, you can choose how long you read it for. Once you reach 100% completion, you will level up that related skill. And the book itself has a value, so you can actually sell it after you finish reading it. Also, if you sit down in a comfy bed or chair before you read, you'll get a reading speed boost. Now, before we head out of town, we should actually go and visit the tailors. You probably have a few extra items from the prologue that you can easily sell there. It's just behind the stocks in the town square, here on the map. Once you've listed all the items you want to sell, you're going to want to haggle with the merchant to get a better price. Unlike the first game though, if you try to ask for too much, they will just stop haggling with you completely. This little icon at the bottom shows how angry they are. And if you ask for too much, they'll get very angry and stop haggling with you completely. Unlike the first game, you can't actually re-enter and haggle with them again. So it's actually better to be safe with your prices. Now, one way you can farm positive reputation with merchants is by giving away items you don't need. For example, food and herbs, you can actually choose to haggle the opposite way. You're basically just giving them the change. And this boosts your positive reputation massively. And if you have a good reputation with a merchant, you then get massive discounts on much more expensive items. Now, when it comes to repairing your armor and clothing, it's always cheaper to buy a tailor kit or smithing kit and do it yourself, instead of going to a merchant and asking them to repair it for you. And using the kit to fix your damaged gear will reduce the kit's condition from 100 to 0. And then you'll need to buy another repair kit to carry on repairing your stuff. Also, some of the higher level gear will require a certain level of crafting skill to repair. So it's best to try and level up your crafting skill early on if you want to be able to repair your clothes later. If you actually check the crafting skill perks, there's a lot of cool bonuses. Like when you repair boots, you then get a percentage decrease to stamina cost when sprinting. And early on in the game, we're going to be doing a lot of sprinting until we get our horse later on in the video. Make sure you sharpen all your weapons in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, even if you're selling them. You can find a grindstone in most towns like this one just here on the map in Troskovitz. This is completely free to do and it increases the condition of your weapon, which also boosts its damage and value if you want to sell it. But here's 3 quick tips on how to sharpen your weapons fast. Firstly, the faster you're spinning the grinding wheel, the faster your weapon will get sharpened. Secondly, when you're angling your sword into the grinding stone, the more yellow sparks you see, the faster it will be sharpened. But when the sparks go white, that's the sweet spot. Just beyond this though, and you'll start seeing black smoke, which actually reduces the condition of your weapon, so make sure you're paying close attention. Also, if you're grinding in the shade instead of the direct sunlight, it's easier to see these visual effects. You should always grind your swords and axes to boost their condition before selling them, because then it increases the value. It's also a free way to level up your crafting skill. Next, we're going to want to go to the town carpenter, which is just in the south of the main town square here on the map. Here we can buy a bow or a crossbow with some of the money we've earned so far. So just buy the cheapest one along with some arrows, and make sure that you meet the minimum strength requirements to use the weapon you're buying. Now early on in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you may be wondering what's better, a crossbow or a bow. Bows are much faster to reload and draw. This means that you can fire a few arrows at animals or enemies before they reach you. However, most bows have a minimum strength requirement. The higher the power, the higher the requirement. Also, when you're aiming with low archery skill, your stamina will rapidly drain, and you'll become more unstable unless you aim and fire quickly. The crossbow, on the other hand, has no requirements, and most of them are more powerful than their bow counterparts. There are a few different types of crossbows, but they all have very slow reload speed, with the advantage that you can ready a single shot, but you'll rarely be able to get more than 1 to 2 shots at a target while hunting or shooting enemies. Obviously, aiming with a crossbow is much easier, but it does still require some stamina to hold it steady. Overall, if you want to invest skill points and time into shooting the bow, it's much better. But if you want to shoot a few shots now and again, the crossbow is a much better way to go. But if you want to get yourself a bow for free, you're just going to come out of Troskowitz and then head down the pathway to the northwest. You're going to find a hidden location just on the road, and it's called the Target on a Tree. You'll basically be coming down this road. There's a fork in the path just there, and that's a really cool view of Trotsky Castle. And then just behind you, you'll see there's kind of like a secret path just heading off into the forest. And it's actually a dead end with a target practice range just here. And there will be several arrows here. I've already taken some ordinary arrows. But behind the tree trunk, you're going to find a Dogwood Village bow at 82% durability. Let's grab that. There's also a sack here, which has 24 ordinary arrows, a bowman's brew, a aim and fire level 1 skill book, and 2 marksman's kits. And you can use that marksman kit to repair the Dogwood Village bow back to 100%. It's then going to have 70 power, while the ordinary arrows do 100 stab damage. Meanwhile, you can also find a bunch of these mushrooms around the area that you can go ahead and pick. I just got 23 in that one spot. If you eat them, they give you -5 nourishment. So if you're ever overstuffed or full, just go ahead and eat one, and it reduces how full you are. And also, when you actually come into this place, just above where the archery target is, you're going to see a nest. Now, if you crouch down, you can then throw rocks now in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And if you try and throw rocks at the nest, you'll be able to hit it and it will fall out of the tree. Now, a lot of these nests have some secret treasures in. Sometimes they will just have bird feathers, but especially at the start of the game, there's a high chance you'll find some useful items that can be sold. And this one specifically had the gold doppelganger badge, which is one of the best golden badges in the entire game, used in Far Cry. So I recommend picking that up now. After you've got that nest, if you actually come over here, just back down the pathway, you see there's another nest in this tree just here, so we can just do the same thing. You always have to aim slightly to the bottom left of it when you're throwing rocks, and then you can hit it. And as you can see, it loves to roll down the hill and disappear into the distance. There we go. Oh, we got the Wagoner's dice, you see. Now, before you continue the main story in Kingdom Come 2, I highly recommend that you do the combat training side quest part 1 and 2. You can get a marker for this side quest here in the center of Troskowitz town by talking to the nomad Bara. She's dressed in red and she's begging along the streets here. Just ask her about her story, and that will unlock a new dialogue option, and you can ask her about Tomcat, who's apparently a guy who's really good with the sword. This will then start the side quest for combat training, and more importantly, it will mark it on your map so you know exactly where to go to continue that quest. You also get the option to ask her for help, and she'll give you some really good advice. And then if you ask her for money, she'll give you another 5 groschen that you can use to buy arrows or that more expensive crossbow. Stealing a horse early in the game in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 can be well worth it to make gold and just get around easier. The best way to do this is at night time, but I'm going to do it during the day. Many towns have a horse paddock, like this one in the south of Troskowitz just here on the map. Once you arrive, you're going to check around for any nearby guards or peasants. If it's nighttime, it's obviously going to be much easier to get away unseen, but at daytime you should be much more careful because their sight range is much higher. You can also check the horse's stats, and in this case there's somebody guarding the gate, so we can just wait an hour and see if he moves. And once he has moved, we can just jump on the horse and ride off. I'm heading southwards into the field. So long as nobody sees us, it's a fast and free ride to wherever you want to go. But just so you know, when you get off the horse, it will wander off, normally back to actually where you got it from, so you can steal the same horse again later. But it is actually possible to sell stolen horses at the Nomad Camp Merchant, just here on the map. We'll be heading over there later anyway. But the next place we should go is back to the Herb Woman's Alchemy Hut, all the way to the west from Troskovitz, past the town of Zeldrov, just here on the map, mainly so I can show you how saving works now. You may be wondering how to save the game in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There are now 3 ways to do so. Firstly, if you own a bed, sleeping in it will save the game when you wake up. But if you sleep in the wilderness, the game won't save. Alternatively, you can use Save Your Schnapps. This potion will save the game, and the potion itself is consumed in the process. You can also now craft more save potions too at the alchemy bench. But finally, you can now save and quit the game in the main menu. Then when you load it back up, you'll start playing from where you quit, which is a great change. Now, once you've saved the game, it's time to get the best early game armor set. This is located near the town of Zelejov. From the Herb Woman's hut, we're going to head east down the path towards Zelejov. And in the forest just here, you're going to find the Thieves' Camp. But take care when you approach the location since he has a dog. We can find the camp just off the path here in the woodland. And once you get nearby, you'll normally find the dog is barking. And the best way to approach this is by shooting the dog with an arrow to lure it away so you can fight it 1 versus 1. Once you get its attention, just wait for the dog to attack you and then block and counter it. This is all about timing. Press the green shield as soon as it appears and then press the blue sword as soon as that appears. Don't press it too early. Don't press it too early. It's all about timing it right because the dog is so fast you'll otherwise miss the attack every time. Once you hit it a few times though, it'll run away. Alternatively, you can sometimes find the dog sleeping, in which case you can just pelt it with your sword until it runs away. Now you've gotten rid of the dog, the thief can't be alerted when we sneak up behind him. So go back to the thief camp and make sure you're not wearing anything noisy when you sneak up behind him. He's normally sitting down eating at certain times of the day, just relaxing. So you want to knock him out from behind. And when you do this, you'll get a quick time event where you see the 2 blue swords crossing. Press the attack button when you see that and you'll succeed at choking him. Alternatively, you can run him back to the villagers for help. After he's dead, you can loot him for a tier 2 knight sword. Oh yeah, the weapons and armor in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 have 3 quality tiers now. 1, 2, and 3, with the 3rd being the most valuable and having the best stats. There is also a secret 4th quality, which is only craftable after you get a certain perk called the Secrets of Martin the Blacksmith. Unfortunately though, the Knight's Sword requires 10 strength and 13 agility to use. You should actually repair it and then sell it for now. Secondly, we have the head armor, a bell-shaped kettle helm and coif, both at 77% condition. If you had fought him, it would have been an even lower condition. Next we have the body armor, a gambeson and smooth cuirass, which is incredible to have this early on. And then we have the padded hose and work boots for the leg armor. He also has a chest key and a saint's dice, which only rolls 3s. But it actually gets better though, because there's a level 1 Houndmaster skill book near the camp bed just here. Then we can also loot the chest with the keys that we looted from his body. He has mutton, a level 2 Houndmaster skill book, materials, and a armorer repair kit, which we can use to repair our armor. Now we have a very high defense for our level and we are pretty well kitted. But next we need to get some food. And if you have found the video helpful so far, please do leave a like on it. It really does help. The best early hunting location in Kingdom Come 2 is right up the hill behind the Alchemist's hut, just here on the map in Božena's garden. There are so many rabbits and deer here that you can go crazy farming them for food. When hunting, you'll want to sneak up on your prey so you don't startle it. You only get 1 shot before it actually runs away, so using the crossbow is easier to aim compared to the bow. Once you've killed a hare, you can then butcher it to get some hare meat, which farms your survival skill and archer levels. But if you kill a deer, however, it counts as poaching. But don't worry, there's a way to get around that back out of the alchemy hut. Just go to the frying pan, and now if you cook the food, it will no longer count as stolen. Cooking food also boosts its nutritional values. Alternatively, you can also come across drying racks and smokehouses in the various villages where you can instantly dry or smoke raw meat. This will make it last much longer before it spoils. Now I recommend you save the game at the Alchemist Hut again, just sleep 1 hour and it will save. You can find an early game dagger for assassinations along with a bunch of armor, jewelry and weapons just over here on the map, west from the Alchemist's Hut, and then west from Bajena's Garden. And then up the next hill, you'll find a hidden treasure hunter's camp just here on the map. From Bajena's Hut, you can just head through the mountain pass up the hill, and then just follow the path until you reach her herb garden where you were hunting before. Then go past the bench and go west towards the cliff. There's a steep bit of hill that you can walk up, and the hunter's camp is now directly in front of us to the west. There are 3 armed bandits here who will attack on sight, so take care. The best way to deal with these bandits is by shooting arrows from a distance. If you don't have any arrows, you can just throw stones. Even if you miss, it doesn't matter. You're just luring one of them away at a time so they can investigate where the arrows are coming from, and then you can beat them in combat 1v1. If you are struggling with combat, make sure that you always just focus on blocking when you see the green shield. You can do this even with 0 stamina. Just block, then parry, block, then parry, and this will tire out your opponents. And then you'll have the opportunity to attack from the other direction that they're not defending from. And then you can get some free hits until you take them down. You can also get the bandits to surrender and then tell them to give you all their armor and weapons. This particular guy has a hunting crossbow and bolts. Once you've dealt with them, you can then loot the treasure hunter's camp. Firstly, by the cooking pot, you'll find a large sack with a free dagger. Daggers can be used to assassinate people from behind or in their sleep. There's also a lot of food here to loot as well. By the next tree, there's a spade which can be used to rob graves later on. You'll also find a hidden valuable golden cup in the open sack here. And then there's a chest which you can unlock with the key from one of the bandits, or you can lockpick it if you didn't kill him. In here, you'll find a broadsword which requires 12 strength and 16 agility. You can repair it at a grindstone for free before selling it. There's a grimy skullcap and a Saxon hauberk, which is a great upgrade to your current armor set. There's also jewelry, which is weightless and sells for a lot of money. Meanwhile, if we walk over to the graves that they were robbing, you'll find a golden chalice worth 580 gold, and you can search the rocks for the shrinking cheat dice, which you can use in Farkle. Now, if you're struggling with these battles, don't worry, the next location will help you out immensely. If you want to improve your combat skills early on, go straight here on the map to complete the combat side quest part 1 and 2. It's at the Nomad camp just over here. You can follow the path all the way here through the valley where I'm marking on the map here. Once you arrive, you'll meet Tomcats who will train you in combat for free. The first thing he teaches you are a couple of combos. You can then repeat the tutorials with him over and over, or just fight him generally to level up your combat skills without having a risk of dying. I also highly recommend that you finish the combat part 2 side quest, which he offers after doing the first part, and there you'll learn the new Master Strike combo from him. This has changed from the first game. Now to Master Strike, you need to attack from the opposite direction when somebody attacks you. But in order for him to teach you this, you'll need to beat him in a duel first. I'll be doing another video on combat if you're struggling to beat him, so make sure you subscribe for that. Now, the Nomad camp is located just up the hill from Tomcat's training area. Here you will find a stable owner who will buy stolen horses from you. There's also another merchant who will sell you a dagger, and then another one who will sell you a spade. So I recommend grabbing those items if you didn't already get them earlier. To get your dog back in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 early on, you need to come all the way to the west of Troskovitz where you start, south of the lake where you find the Nomad's camp just over here. You'll want to go into the woods and place a marker exactly where I'm placing one just over here. Once you've done that, head directly through the woods to this location and you'll trigger a cutscene where you'll find Mutt. But there's also a bunch of wolves who immediately surround you and start trying to attack you. Now, as long as you have armor on your legs, like the set I showed you how to get earlier, they will do a lot less damage to you. Just make sure that you're getting the perfect block and then waiting for that parry. Don't attack too early, it's all about timing. The wolves are so fast you'll otherwise miss all your attacks and just waste your stamina. It's much better to play defensively instead of being aggressive and just swinging your sword at them. Make sure that you get Mutt to sick 'em as a distraction. You can also corner the wolves against wolves for a few extra hits. Now, so long as you have stamina and repaired leg armor, you're going to be fine. Once you run out of stamina though, they will deal damage to you. It's quite a difficult fight, but once you've tried a few times, you will get used to the timing of the combat and just trying not to get surrounded. You'll slowly be able to wear them down by attacking them as each one comes at you. Once they're low on health, they'll either run away or die. Once you've killed the wolves, you can then butcher them all for tons of wolf meat. But more importantly, you're going to want to loot their nearby den, where you'll find another broadsword, a patched cuirass, and 800 groschen worth of jewelry. All the jewelry is weightless, so you can actually just leave it in your inventory until whenever you want to sell it. But if you do wear the ring, you get plus 32 charisma. The glasses look terrible, but they give you plus 25 charisma in the other slot. Now for my next trick, I'll be showing you how to get your own horse for free. Now on my first playthrough of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, people had a go at me because I kept the worst horse that you start the game with. It was an absolute donkey of a horse called Pebbles with the worst stats. And I rode into the ending of the first game riding Pebbles. And I said, wouldn't it be a great Easter egg if Pebbles was in the second game? And well, one of the developers at Wars decided that you would start Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on Pebbles. It's obviously not a spoiler because you see him in the trailers. But unfortunately, once you get ambushed at the lake, you lose your horse. But it turns out that you can actually get him back. All you need to do is go and take the road southwest from Troskowitz until you reach the town of Semien, which is located just here on the map. Once you arrive, head to Semien Castle and go around the back to the horse stable. When you get there, you'll see a grey horse called Pebbles who's standing in the paddock, which you can actually interact with. Interacting with the horse will unlock a secret dialogue option with the stable master. You can now go and talk to him and tell him that that grey horse Pebbles is yours. He'll try to tell you it's now his since he brought it, but it was very cheap. So you can persuade him very easily by telling him to be reasonable and giving you back your horse. And then he'll give you Pebbles back for free. This is a very easy persuasion check, but you can save the game before if you want to try it a few times if you fail for some reason. Alternatively, if you fail, you can buy Pebbles back for 170 groschen, and you can haggle on that price too. Pebbles is actually a legendary horse though, who has a secret ability. If you check his stats, you can see they're quite mediocre. But the more you ride and bond with Pebbles over the course of the game, the higher these stats will actually become. Now you will start out with some horse equipment that can be equipped by firstly moving it to your horse from your inventory, and then if you go to the horse tab, you then get the option to equip it onto your horse. You'll also be able to store items on your horse, massively improving your total carrying capacity when looting. You can also buy upgrades for your horse from any stables. They'll sell saddles to boost your carrying capacity, bridles to boost speed and endurance, and armor which boosts the horse's boldness so they don't get scared in an ambush. But all of this adds weight onto your horse, which slows it down overall. And if you're wondering what Pebbles' stats look like after riding him for a fair bit, you can see he has great stamina and insane carrying capacity, the highest in the game. Compared to other horses, his speed's still quite low, and his courage, that can also be boosted with equipment too. Now, the final thing I'd recommend working towards is this. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can actually get a permanent teleporting storage chest and bed that you can fast travel to. To do this, you want to go west from Troskowitz to Zelejov. Then go north through the woods where you'll find the Wagoner's Inn. The inn also has its own fast travel point, and it's in the middle of the Troskwi map. So it's a great place to have a permanent bed and storage. You can unlock it by talking to the tavern innkeeper, but instead of asking them to stay for a single night for 12 gold, ask to stay longer. He will then offer you a room for 120 groschen, but you will keep this room forever. Once you pay him, you can then find the room upstairs. It's a comfortable bed that buffs your character when you sleep here, and the chest storage is permanent. You can also access it from any other inn you buy a room in the game. But you can get 2 free bedrooms right at the start of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The first one is located northwest of Troskowitz, just here on the map in Tachov. And when you get there, you're going to find a blacksmith who teaches you how to make weapons. And the blacksmith will give you a bedroom near his forge. It's just here next to the wheelbarrow. Just on the left of it, you'll find your bed just here, and then there's a storage chest over here. And there will be a few tools you can use, like the armorer's kit. and they do respawn, which is really nice. The second one you can get is southwest from Troskovia. So literally follow this really long path all the way down here to Summery, and then carry on going until you get to this main quest marker, which is the location of the miller. Once you arrive at this location, you'll want to find the miller. He's just sitting upstairs here right now. After you help him out with his quest, he's actually going to give you the room, which is inside this house and up this staircase. This one's a bit more annoying to get to. It's hidden just behind this little wooden part here. You'll find a bed. The advantage is that you then have a bedroom in Tachov in the north of the map, and then you have another one all the way down here in the south of the map. So you've always got somewhere to save the game and rest. But I couldn't fit all my tips and tricks into one video. So if you want more tips for leveling your skills fast, secret loot locations, and much more, check out my other video just here on the right hand side, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching.